Well, hello there, friends. It is I, Tragically HP, the disembodied voice, speaking to you from behind. Well, I guess I do have an avatar there on the screen, so I'm magically speaking to you through my avatar. We're excited to bring you our first new segment here, Play with Viewers. And we're going to be starting off with Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition in the homebrew world of Enemir, which we can see a bit of here on the screen, just a tiny bit of a map that I've created for our adventuring needs, the usual chat log off to the side, and a bunch of vacant frames for players to join in and play. We've got 3 members of the RU crew here to sit in as veteran players. Myself will be in the lower left frame, which leaves 3 seats open for anybody who wishes to jump in and play. And that's pretty much as simple as announcing in the chat log here, hey, I want to play. And really the only requirements are that you have access to Discord, because we play audio and video through the Discord. The video is not mandatory. If you don't want to be on video, you don't have to be. If you do want to be, we can easily accommodate that, place you inside of a frame and give you a name, title, and everything, and make it more official. No pressure, no stress. Whatever works for you works for us. We're just here to have fun. I will let the other disembodied voices say their hellos while I begin some technical adjustments here and actually get our cameras on the screen here.
Hello, I am the disembodied voice of Evil Dawn, unless I've already been put up there because I'm actually looking at a character sheet at the moment.
Hello everyone, this is Jason. Tonight I will also be known as Jack Diamond, the half-elf bard. Hopefully I have the voice down for tonight.
Oh, we're going to do voices, huh? You put me on the spot, huh? Alright, I'll have to come up with something for the Halfling Barbarian that I'm going to be playing tonight. Should be interesting.
Oh, in that case, my disembodied voice, my character that I would be playing tonight is a actually it's a Triton Storm Sorcerer.
Yeah, the artwork for that looks awesome, by the way.
Hey, there we are. There's our Discord page in all of its glory, now dominating the entirety of the screen. And we'll kind of allow this to serve as a tutorial as well for those of you who are building your own role-playing streams or just using Streamlabs combined with Discord to use your video and audio, because a lot of the Streamlabs setups come with a webcam and microphone option preloaded, but a lot of people like to use the Discord as well, which you can see we're doing. So I'm going to start off top left there with J-Man himself. What's up?
Not much, just coming in here to play some D&D, get some new or veteran folks in here to play with us. It's always interesting to play with new people. We've been playing with the same crew for a very long time now, so it could be fun to have some new blood in here and see what shakes out.
Oh, absolutely. Give me a tiny bit more dialogue there. I just finished cropping your frame. I want to make sure I cropped the green line out as well.
The green line. What about the red line or the blue line? Don't cut the red line. Don't ever cut the red line.
Excellent. I think that looks good. And in the spirit of the tutorial part, that is accomplished, what I just did here, simply by using your sources menu of Streamlabs and importing a window source, as is the case for Discord here, and then choosing whichever Discord channel you currently have active. Make sure you have the channel active, otherwise the Streamlabs cannot read it to import it into the page. And assuming you have it active, you'll be able to import that, which is how I got all of a sudden all 4 of our frames and our entire Role-Playing Unlimited Discord channel on there. And then just grab each side of it and hold the Alt key, crop it down to whatever fits your needs here. In Justin's case, Obviously, his camera is too big for the frames we have, so I'm just going to grab one of the corners, and that's as simple as dropping it down. You don't have to hold anything really for that purpose. Ah, he's shrinking! It's the reduce spell. And then hold the control key so that you can get the frame precisely where you want it. And then the alt trick again so that I can crop it and get it all inside the frame.
It's like pretty interesting. I've never actually understood how you did that.
And the weird thing is I'm watching the Twitch channel and I'm not watching our Discord channel, and the slight delay in time just makes it all the funnier when Justin's going, "Help me!" and shrinking.
Oh yeah. It is pretty interesting, Jason. A lot of people have, of course, like anything else in life, put up online tutorials and what have you that teach you how to do this kind of stuff. And this was one of the first things I learned when creating our first Baldur's Gate stream. And it's become kind of second nature after building so many stream pages that use very similar format.
Right, and that was the iteration before I came back to the group this time, correct?
Well, we played, I want to say, maybe 10 sessions of the Baldur's Gate campaign before you joined in as Dag, and then you've been here for now over half the campaign. The Enemir campaign that we played for 2018 through 2020, we actually didn't stream that one.
Right, that was the one I really wanted to jump into, and I just wasn't able to.
Yeah, that one was a lot of fun, but perhaps had the most contention between the party members of any group I've ever had due to vampires, undead, and things of that nature, and prestige abilities that nobody else had.
It's all Madison's fault.
I'm kicking myself in
agree.
retrospect, because I wonder if Matheson had been like in the voice of Carl, like I used for Mordenkainen last night. If Matheson had sounded like Carl, everything would have been better. But the Matheson incident, as bad as it was and as heated as it got with the group, it was that campaign that finally broke us out of our text-only gameplay, which I was a strong proponent of for years because I hate taking notes, and having the entire game recorded in text format just means we're taking our own notes while we're playing. But this is exactly the same thing. We're not taking notes, we're just recording it, and we can watch and cut to different scenes as we find necessary. It's the exact same thing, and we lose out on a lot of those text arguments that happen because the nuances of conversation are often lost, and facial expressions, tone, things of that nature.
That makes a lot of sense. And also, speaking of Matheson, basically he just rubbed Denshar the wrong way the first time they met. So it was just like, Denshar was like, all right, I'm going to do something kind for a change. I'm going to rescue you. And he's like, great, I'm coming with you now. It's like, you weren't invited. You know what? You're now on my bad side.
Thanks, Marie Calendars.
I don't get it.
You know what? There was this thing on Facebook where this woman overbaked her pie from Marie Calendars, and she complained to Marie Calendars, and she ended everything with "Thanks, Marie Calendars," so it's kind of been a joke. If anything goes wrong, it's Marie Callender's fault. There's a whole Facebook page dedicated to roasting this woman.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. I liked some of it.
Eek. Man.
Maybe she paid more attention to roasting the pie than she wouldn't have been roasted so much. Thanks, Marie's calendar.
Well, it looks like she left it on the surface of Mustafar. I mean, if this thing gets up wearing a black suit, I'm not going to be anywhere around it.
Oh man, in that case, it was a frickin' a jelly pie.
I think it was supposed to be a pumpkin pie, but I'm not sure. I
that's
can't
fantastic.
confirm nor deny this.
when they took it out, did it have a ring in its hand?
I don't know. It's possible, and I have just been told that it was a pumpkin pie at one time.
'Cause
Now it's half Skywalker.
it could have been Gollum, you know.
Skywalker, the original, well, I guess not counting Shmi, he wasn't even half Skywalker by the time he was done at Mustafar.
So
No, he was about 1/3 Skywalker after that.
At best.
So Obi-Wan, what's this fight going to cost me? Oh, an arm and a couple legs.
Good stuff, good stuff. Feel free to use this opening time as well to just fill each other in and fill any of our viewers in on your character concepts.
So let me pull mine up. Jack Diamond is not your typical bard.
Did you write a backstory for it? Why don't you read us his backstory?
I did. And that's actually what I'm pulling up. I had to reload my Roll20 so I could get the proper artwork up there, so I'm pulling it up now.
Let me just cut you off there real quick. Your backstories are possibly going to change in a very radical way, not necessarily changing the character itself that you've created, but possibly locations, people, and things of that nature. And now that I've got most of the frames done, once I finish the frames and we've got a starting setup here, I'll go ahead and get into what details we're talking about here, and it focuses on the outlandish nature of how this campaign is going to work, because the intention is to have characters come and leave as freely as you want to play. If you can only play for 20-30 minutes, sit in, get in a round or two of combat, later have a good one, I mean, whatever works.
So is that death or magical sleep?
Okay, so we might as well read our backstories anyways, just in case, so people will know what our original thoughts are versus what the new reality becomes.
Sure. That'll work.
Do you want me to kick this off?
Oh, of course, you started, and I always enjoy hearing about bards.
Titus K. von Wren was born in the year 1201 to his parents Silas and Stella, both half-elves living in the community of Islam. Did I say it right? Isilme, which means moonlight, in the town of Dan, I know I'm going to mess them up. Isarak or Ikarak?
Isarak.
Isarak. Okay, so pardon all my enunciations of locations.
Well, if you can't get the names right, don't even bother, dude. I'm not interested. We might as well just cancel this whole thing right now.
All right, I'm out.
Later. Have a good night, everybody. God bless.
So it's located in the northeast side of the city and is little more than several buildings and businesses, all owned by half-elves. Titus was the firstborn, followed by his brother Linus, his sister Adwin, and Selwyn. Titus's father Silas was infatuated with adventurers and ran a curio second-hand shop. The family did a fair business with heroes and adventurers, both purchasing gathered items and selling refurbished and cleaned items, along with the occasional potion and scroll.
Cool.
Rarely a magic item would come through, but they were present at the shop. Silas made a deal with a local wizard to teach Titus arcane magic, so he could become a wizard in his own time. Often as children do, they do not follow the plans set forth by their parents. Titus followed his passions of painting, art, and music. Titus did learn a thing or two from his wizard master and became fascinated with the benevolent dragons of the world. Early on, it became his life's dream to paint the portraits of dragons. He would still work for the wizard, cleaning his library and learning languages and the occasional arcane factoid. But he had to help support his family still and would play music, recite poetry, and sketch folks while down at the tavern. He earned a fair coin doing this and made... hold on, lost my place. He earned a fair coin doing this and made the decision to take his art to a new level. He created the stage name of Jack Diamond. His fondness of card games and the flashy name fit perfect. Thus, Jack Diamond was born. He spent the next few years honing his skills with his favored hurdy-gurdy, as well as the flute and drum. His sketches and paintings were still his main passion, and as luck would have it, he was commissioned to paint a local lord's youngest daughter. The painting became local famous of sorts, as it was the sole surviving item from the home after it was destroyed in the Travesty Collective. Often, he can be found sketching new variations of contraptions and technomancy. He has sketchbooks filled with them. Jack even claims to have hidden codes throughout his sketchbook. None are sure if this is a colorful boast or an entertaining story designed to make his work valuable to others. Jack is fond of card games and gambling, as his name suggests. He has a difficult time with gambling and has gotten himself into debt to an individual named Lafayette in a diss. After a particularly good winning streak, Jack lost a huge pot and became indebted to Lafayette. Jack left town, and Lafayette still sends people to collect from time to time. Jack leaves with no money from a night of performing, but he still has his hands and fingers, at least for now. Lafayette seems to be running out of patience for payment. That original 12,400 gold pieces seems like it's been paid several times over. Lafayette gave Jack more time for an additional 15%. It was also during this time that adventurers with nefarious attitude murdered Jack's father in a business deal. His mother and siblings intend to rebuild the shop and help rebuild the borough of in Ikarak. It's the feeling of the locals, half-elves, to see the neighborhood rebuilt, claiming not dragon, nor god, nor aliens can drive them from their home. The new shop, the Bauble and Trinket, could be rebuilt in the next year, and Jack will paint a new sign for the establishment. And that's his backstory.
Oh, I'm sorry. How long was this game session supposed to be?
Yeah, and thank you all so much for joining us for Roleplaying Unlimited. I'm Tragically HP. Have a good night, all.
Did I overdo it again?
That is a frickin' novel, man.
Hey, I'm good with it. The more detail, the better. There we go. It's coming
At least
together.
didn't have
was
him
good
do
enough.
like some crazy heroic feats and then he's still level 1.
Yeah, I think the most astounding thing that I have in his background is he made a painting that's kind of local famous for surviving a destroyed home. And it's not really the painting itself, it's just the fact that, by coincidence, it survived.
It always makes me laugh when you hear those backstories. It's like, I got revenge on the Orc clan that killed my family. I killed every single one of them. And then they're still level 1. They died over rat.
Whoops.
Well, I actually put something in here that I've wanted to put in for a long time now. And you know how, as adventurers, we always take advantage of the local merchants and we're murdered hobos and take them and the thing we were trying to buy and their money since they wouldn't give us a deal? Yeah, that happened to his father.
Oh, that's great. Tragic.
His father
backstory
was
number
killed by
one.
murder hobos.
Well, how about Evil Dawn or J-Man? What do you guys have as far as backstories?
Okay, well, my character's name is Nathrin Leosion. He was an orphan raised in Carius. He never knew his parents, and he didn't look quite like his fellow orphans. His skin was bluish tint, and his hair was light green color. His fingers and toes were webbed, unlike his peers. He was always made fun of and got into many fights. When he was old enough, he left the orphanage and got aboard a pirate ship. Life was hard. He scrubbed the deck, cleaned the guns, learned to fight. He learned to kill. He was on board a ship for 6 months when tragedy struck. During a fight between the pirates and a merchant vessel, which the pirates were winning, the ship started taking water from mysterious damage. The pirate ship was sunk. The only survivor was Netherin, who washed up on shore unconscious. Netherin was recruited aboard another pirate ship. He had to start at the bottom and work his way up again. Again, this ship took on mysterious damage and was sunk. Netherin, the only survivor. He started to think he was cursed, and he cursed any ship that had him. A third pirate ship took him on. 10 months later, it too sunk. He decided not to return to a ship until he could break the curse he was under. Netherin continued to feel the pull of the sea. He knew he was a pirate at heart and soul, and decided to stay on land. He wanders the coast, taking odd jobs and accompanying stares that went with them.
I like it. Of course, I always like pirates, though.
I dig it as well. And J-Man, are you frozen? Oh, yep, he sure was. I thought he was fooling around, but sure enough, he was frozen, just like always. As soon as he goes to scratch his nose, the camera always freezes in such a way that it makes it look like he's just digging for gold for like 20 minutes. What kind of backstory, if any, do we have set up for you there, Justin?
I didn't actually write anything. We had kind of discussed some details of the backstory just to make sure it would be kosher to do what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
It is kind of dependent on location, so if that's changing, I don't know how we want to do that.
Okay.
But based on what we talked about before, the halfling territories of Danamar are just to the like northwest of the region of the map
Right.
we're showing on here.
Yes.
And so my character being halfling was from that area.
Sweet.
And from a previous campaign, a previous group of ours ran into a character near there called Grinwell. And this man, as he appeared, was actually a silver dragon in Polybor. And we figured that out. He was an ally to us and helped us out, and we left him alone, and he hasn't come up since. But I've always remembered him. And with that in mind, I know that at this point in the timeline, a lot of dragon bad stuff has happened. Dragon, have ravaged the country, the whole continent, and
Oh, yeah.
they're very bad.
Yes, indeed.
So I was thinking this character was born with some sort of under a sign or some sort of mark or something like that. That was the mark or the sign of the dragon. And so it was an ill prophecy child type thing. And his parents were grief stricken because what are we going to do? We don't want to give up on our child. When he got old enough to understand this and why his family was more or less outcast of the village, he took it upon himself to exile himself from the village because he didn't want his family to suffer for something that was on him. And he saw this mark, this sign of the dragon as an opportunity to prove that he is not a cursed child, that he is maybe a blessed child, because there are still good dragons in the world, he believes. And going out into the wilderness, living on his own, he did one day run across this kindly man by the name of Grinwell, who taught him some tricks about how to survive in the wild on his own, and maybe kindled something deep inside of him. Because now if he gets in a fight and he gets really angry, he starts to feel this strength within him, this like a draconic courage, perhaps, a draconic might that propels him to fight with tooth and nail. Now, obviously, you can't do that until I get third level archetype features, but that is the general idea of the class. He believes himself to be cursed and blessed at the same time with this sign of the dragon. He does not know that Grinwell is an actual dragon, and that knows a dragon who could teach him things, but that's the mystery of that. And as he goes up in level, he will get the abilities of a higher level barbarian of the Path of the Beast, which allows him to make like natural attacks like claws and bites, and when he makes those attacks, he will have a draconic countenance to himself when he does so. So it'll be an interesting social reaction, I believe, when people start to see that.
So basically, he's gonna be a pseudo dragon.
No. More like a quasi.
All right, we got there. I like that a lot, actually. I've always been a fan of the silver dragons in polymorph form. Cheddar's like, nope, I'm just gonna lay down.
Oh, looks like I was on mute there for a second. Saying hello to Choosy. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for being here. And my dog Warren says hello. Get that in there one more time. Hello, hello. Hi. Oh, he wants to get down. He's ready. Put me down, Daddy. That's enough. He is pretty adorable. He is so old too, and he's just the cutest little thing. Thank you so much for being here and hanging out. We are just building the starting blocks of a Play with Viewers campaign for anyone who is interested in playing some D&D. Tonight is dedicated entirely to lore creation, character creation. We're not actually going to do any playing tonight, but we are going to hopefully get some interest garnered, get a couple characters created. If not, we've already got our characters created, and we can easily talk for a while about Enemir and just, hopefully meet some new players and get them into the game here. And after you guys have just gone through your backstory information, we can adjust that accordingly with the following revelation that I will give you here. And after consideration of the numerous methods that could be used to kind of do a campaign of this nature, because, again, like a broken record, these guys have heard it, but this might be your first time, new viewer, having heard what the premise of this Play with Viewers is going to be. Essentially, if you can only play once a month for 30 minutes, your schedule is just so full. If that 30 minutes happens to be on a Wednesday night between 7 and 9 p.m. Pacific, then we might have an open seat for you. We got 3 of them right now. It's a very free-flowing type of game. If you want to sit in for the entire session and play and become part of this campaign that we're building, that's cool as well. If you're only able to play a little bit here and there, that's also fine. There's no commitments, there's no pressure, there's no, oh crap, I'm running late, sorry guys. I mean, there's literally no communication or contact needed. You can jump in and play as long as we got an open seat, essentially. And in that nature of playing the game out of game mechanically, I'm thinking in-game, how do we do this? Because everybody wants to have a character, we want to have a cohesive story, we don't want it to just be a video game equivalent of Neverwinter Nights or any of the D&D video games where it's literally just hack slash equipment accumulation, etc., etc. So what I've concocted here is very much in the vein of what the campaign's theme already is, but expanding upon it in ways that were not initially intended. That being, this is the Kingdom of Danamar that we can see on the map here. And scanning back. This is a very small part of Danamar as well. If we scan in closer. Hey, Fort Cactus, woohoo! Scanning closer here. This is only the South Danamar territories, and Danamar is but one of 6 countries on the continent of Alaram, where much of Enemir has taken place over the last 20 years. Enemir is our homebrew campaign world. Excuse me. It's our homebrew campaign world that we've had over 10 campaigns in, and for the most part, it's been pretty linear. We started in the early to mid 1100s. We've played through to about the early 1400s. Occasionally, we've played a campaign that kind of takes place during events we've already established. Sometimes we'll play a campaign that takes place way before everything even started, but for the most part, it's been a pretty linear fashion. And Danamar has always been a kingdom of high technology. All throughout history, from the most rudimentary inventions, from the windmill to railroads, steam technology, all that stuff originates in Danamar before it kind of spreads to the rest of the continent. And the reason for this, as we later discovered, mostly out of game, only a few characters have found this out in game. Really should have brought a bottle of water here with me so I don't have to clear my throat after every other sentence, but I'll do that here shortly after I turn the mic back over to you guys. Part of what happened with Danamar that we discovered in their history was that their king was actually visited by an alien creature in a flying saucer, essentially. And Danamar is rich in uranium, which these aliens, otherwise known as the Ictora, find to be of high value. And because Enemir is a very medieval world for the most part, they don't really have need of uranium. They don't even really know what it is. They've never seen it. So when this alien shows up and says, "Your world, Mr. King, these mountains that you don't mine at all except for, like, trifle materials like gold and diamonds," which aliens, these Ictora, are so far beyond because they're now into freaking uranium and shit. These mountains over here, we want to mine them for stuff you're never going to use, and in exchange we're going to give you access to technological advancements the likes of which you have never dreamed. And that's why Danamar invents the windmill, invents steam technology, irrigation, agriculture, like just every major achievement in human history, at least, is owed to these Ictora aliens, and hardly anybody ever knows it. Over the centuries that ensue after the following kings become aware of this alliance with the Ictora for the technological exchange, one of these kings, a man named Astophilis, decided that he was going to basically pull a Darth Vader and alter the deal. Change the terms of the arrangement without telling the Ictora, even. And after a few decades of mastering the arcane arts, Astophilis put his plan into effect, trapping one of the Ictora, and thus began strife between the peoples of Danamar and the alien Ictora. And it took maybe about a year before the Ictora caught wind of this, because even though they are a spacefaring race, they've got so much stuff going on that the imprisonment of one of their emissaries on one backwater world isn't necessarily something that's going to garner their instant attention. But once this emissary was freed by a party of adventurers that my friends here actually played in a previous campaign, the emissary contacted his people, and the Ictora arrived on Enemir, and Danamar was ravaged in epic fashion. I mean, we're talking space vessels destroying medieval cities. But keep in mind, Danamar had gained notable technological advancements. They had airships that were pretty equivalent to like fighter jets. They had energy-based weapons that were a hybrid of magic and technology, a technomancy, techno-wizardry of sorts. And they were well-trained. They also had faith on their side. Many of them had still maintained allegiances with the clerical deities, the nature gods, and things of that nature, ironically. So it wasn't something that people would expect would be such an annihilation. The Danemari had 16 floating motes of Earth that were their capital city. I mean, this is a highly advanced species of human. But the Ictora, in recompense for this grievance against their arrangement, they just wiped Danemar essentially off of the world. There's still cities, there's still people, but when they did their scans of Enemir and they found concentrations of large technomancy, they just destroyed those areas wantonly, without regard for anything. And it's in the aftermath of this destruction and devastation of Danemar that this campaign is going to take place. We're here in the Southern Territories. It's mostly a desert region, but we did see some green. We can actually see a lake region here in the Tel'Janin Mountains. And additionally, the southern borders of the Everhome Forest on the northeast part of this map. Right about here. Yeah, there's the Everhome Forest. This is the eastern shoreline of the continent of Alaram. So Danemar, the country, sits on like the northeast part of the continent. Much of the economy here deals with mining. The Danemari mines are very rich and have been the source of numerous conflicts over the previous decades. Now, to tie all of that together into how we're going to make this work with a play with viewers, since we have an alien invasion, essentially, previously in our campaign, what we're going to have is an entity or a faction, an organization, something I still haven't quite nailed it down just yet, but somebody else out there in the cosmos, in the universe, that is not fond of what the Ictora did to Danemar, or is not fond of the Ictora at all and wants to aid Danemar as a means of hurting the Ictora. And in that respect, we're essentially about to open up Enemir in a Spelljammer type fashion, to where we've got access to galactic kind of stuff, which we've always kind of had. It's just always been limited to Enemir itself. And this entity, this faction, this organization, whatever it is, I'll have it nailed down before next Wednesday, before we actually start playing. But whatever this entity is, will have the ability to go to other worlds, find characters, heroes, villains, whatever, who can aid Danemar. And he doesn't want people, they don't want people that are too technologically powerful. Like, we don't want to bring superheroes here, we don't want to bring stormtroopers or Mandalorians or anything of that nature, because they might be a bit too advanced for the world. We've already run into those kinds of problems, but we do want to kind of even the scales out. So in that nature, even though we're talking a galactic expanse, we're still keeping it D&D. We're still playing D&D races, we're still playing D&D classes. We may have occasional access to some kind of technological device, like we always had in Danemar before, as far as like energy weapons. I mean, it's not really any different than having a wand that fires energy spells out of it. It's just a gun that fires energy out of it instead. And with that in mind, I think that will serve very well for us for bringing characters in, taking characters out very freely, under the guise of you're helping Danemar on a time that basically works for you. I realize that I'm pulling you off of your native environment, out of your world where you have a life of your own and you have things going on. So as you are available to help, I will bring you into this conflict, and when you have to go back to your stuff, I will take you out of this conflict. And I think that pretty much covers all the bases that we're going to need to have.
I actually really like that. That's one of those nuggets of the story that I've never known, and it's those things that out of game I love hearing, and I can't wait for my characters, whether it's this one or another one down the road, that learns about stuff like that.
Oh yeah, and all these characters will probably know of their extra-worldly origin, essentially, because the intent is that none of these characters will be from Animir. Maybe one or two of them could feasibly be, and this being just kind of gathers somebody up from another part of Animir and brings them here. But for the most part, I think it serves our uses very well if it's just, I pulled you from this world, I pulled you from this world. Jason, your character can be from your world. Justin, your character can be from your world. Don, you can create where your character is from. And it takes away a lot of restrictions that Animir has in place. Like, Jason, your character had a lot of dragon stuff in his backstory, which can be kind of tricky in Animir, considering how prevalent dragons were in the Travesty Collective. And now dragons are nearly extinct as a result of that same series of conflicts. But if your character is from another world that I haven't written the history for, then the dragons are whatever you make of them. And it doesn't inhibit our story either, because it's literally something that happened on another world, and we're bringing you into this conflict. So it's part of your story, but it's not something that's going to necessarily influence what we're doing here.
Oh, that would work really good with my homebrew world as well, because not only do I have doorways between my world and other worlds, my homebrew world also goes galactic as well.
Nice. Yeah, I don't have like the Nexus or connections to other places like Farum has. But Animir has always had that kind of extra galactic influence in it that was always kind of Final Fantasy, Star Wars influenced, that I used to explain why we have this technology. Because to my knowledge, Final Fantasy, as cool of a hybrid as it is, as it can be in a lot of the games, I don't recall there ever being a lot of explanation as to, so it's a medieval world, but we've got this thing here that's just way out of everything else technologically. I wanted to kind of have some explanation for those things being on Animir itself, and Aliens just made perfect sense.
And it does. It's a really cool switch from your typical D&D scenarios.
Fantastic. I'm glad you guys are down with it, and I think in future promotions for this campaign, that is something that we can kind of abbreviate as far as how we're implementing the nature. Because I've told people as part of the promotions, you want to play for 30 minutes, you can. You want to play for 2 hours, you can. It's very flexible, whatever fits your schedule. And I think some people might be doubting that this is even possible, but again, a lot of people don't know that I and we have been doing this for decades upon decades now, and anything is possible in tabletop RPGs. I mean, your imagination is the limit, so, I mean, that's just how it is.
Yeah, I think in promoting basically that they can make a character from anywhere they want to make it from,
yeah,
and be dropped into this campaign as well. It might trigger a different kind of interest as well, because people are like, I really like making Forgotten Realms characters, but this isn't a Forgotten Realms game. It doesn't matter. You can bring in a Forgotten Realms character.
Right. I want to play something from Eberron.
Or even, dare I mention, Strahd? Well, not actually Strahd himself. I'm talking about
Ravenloft.
Ravenloft itself.
Yeah.
So we might have a werewolf join us at one point, or
right. And that kind of covers it from your character's perspective as well. So you guys aren't like 3 hometown characters that just keep having these weird people coming in and out and joining you. You guys are part of that process as well, and aware of the fact that I mean, it exists for you guys as well, as reliable and dedicated members of Roleplaying Unlimited as you guys are. Real life is always first, and sometimes you have to miss a session, and this works to your benefit as well, in that entity X, whatever it is that is existing to put you into the scenario and take you out of it, can just as easily take you out as any other character.
The way I also look at this too is, do you remember the old Mission Impossible TV shows?
Yeah.
You know, with Peter Graves, where he takes the mission folder and he goes, okay, this regular is in, and then look, we have special guests joining our Impossible Missions force.
Oh yeah, for me
and it's funny because I was first thinking of Briscoe County Jr. with because they had a lot of the sci-fi aspects into the cowboy show, and it was kind of the same thing.
That's awesome. And yeah, I think my inspiration in this facet has always been the old 80s cartoon Mask, where they just have the mission and then they bring in a different assortment of cast members every week, which it's the same 6 characters that they're choosing a group from. Sometimes they have all 6 of them in it, but that was kind of the impetus behind this, is how can I use that mechanic in a way that makes sense for the story that we're going to try to play.
Yeah, but you're not going to add a pesky kid and a shitty little robot, are you?
Oh, T-Bob, absolutely. I think T-Bob will actually be the one that's bringing you guys in and out. Like, rather than teleport, like, you guys will just kind of like ride in on T-Bob, and like your first round of attack, you get advantage because like you're charging in like with a lance or something.
What were the robots' names from Black Hole? Oh, I gotta look that up now.
And that's Maximilian. And
no, the 2 little ones. The 2 little ones.
Oh,
the little
crap! Hold on, it's coming to me. One was Bob. Bob was the piece of junk. And oh, what the heck?
They were both anagrams, so. Vincent.
Oh, Vincent. Yep. And Vincent had telepathy with the lady doctor.
So now, how do you see this working with the character backgrounds that you guys have already put together?
Actually, so the background that I have could be his cover story. So it's a cover story within a cover story, so to speak. So not everybody realizes he's from somewhere else because he's on this mission to do this work here. So he has to at least sound like he's from here. So I don't see any reason why the backstory I have written couldn't work in a backdoor fashion.
Yeah, and mine, I mean, you know, if you take like the movie Waterworld, which was really a horrible movie anyway, but you do have these areas of land where he doesn't realize he's a Triton, but ends up being in an orphanage and you know, being part of that world. And it does make sense because the Sahagin, which are the natural enemies of the Triton, could also be native to that world too.
Very true.
And I actually liked Waterworld.
Likewise, I picked it up on a DVD within the last year because for Annie and Mai's honeymoon a few years back, we went to Universal Studios, and they still have the Waterworld experience there. Or was it at Warner Brothers? One of the two that we went to. I think it might be WB, actually. But it was a lot of fun. I was like, wow, they still have this thing up, and they just changed the experience from what I remember being as a kid. And I was like, man, I can't remember the last time I saw that movie. And then I always remember, what was it, Justin? He always would quote the part when the little girl waves at the, what are you thinking about?
How much for the little girl?
Half an hour, half an hour, half an hour, half an hour. Paper! You've seen paper!
So, and that's also where he has his flintlock pistol.
Ah, very cool, yeah.
And Jack carries like a small revolver type pistol. Almost like his inspiration for his look was Tom Petty from the video of You Got Lucky. So I could totally see him having a small cowboy pistol, something like that, on his hip.
I thought you were about to say Tom Petty in The Postman.
No, which is linked through Kevin Costner on that one.
Oh, yeah.
But it's pretty close to the same outfit.
Yeah, I just watched that one a couple weeks ago, actually.
Hell, I rode this thing for fun once.
Good times, good times.
How about you, Justin? What would you change on your backstory for this?
Yeah, give me just a sec. I'm going to grab some water. You guys go ahead and chat for a minute.
I don't know. I'm kind of like what I already had going for like being a local of the area and the whole, dragon curse thing, and the inclusion of the Grinwell dragon character. I'd have to think about if I wanted to change him to be from somewhere else. Because when I initially make characters, I really dig deep into the location they're from to get a good idea of the type of person they are. And so I've already kind of married myself to that location, but I can probably change it if I need to.
I could totally see you being a local, pretty much being groomed by the dragon. Maybe that's where your dragon mark, for lack of a better term, came from. Maybe this dragon was approached by said aliens and, hey, what can you do to help us fix this? And the dragon's like, here, halfling. They can change the fates of everyone, as long as there's not a ring involved. They did that one already.
What about a necklace or something? Bracelet?
All I can see now is the Jack Black skit. Yeah, we went out and we had a few drinks last night. Yeah, it's a Prince Albert.
You have my axe.
Yeah, that was a little... I'm really surprised that hit TV.
Well, it wasn't technically explicit, so...
No, true. But I wonder how many people went and looked up, what's a Prince Albert? But yeah, I could see making some minor changes. I really like Dan's concept of coming from my world. That kind of gives further links. Especially from my perspective, because I really like Enemir. And I'd love to have another link, especially encouraged by Dan, to Enemir.
Yeah, that's cool. I think if Dan's cool with it, I'll probably leave him as a local because there should maybe be some local presence here. And with the Outlander background that I've chosen, it's all about like knowing the terrain and the geography pretty well, so it would fit to be from here to be able to do that.
Oh, absolutely. I could, I think having the local actually makes more sense. From that perspective, it anchors it in this world.
Also, being that I'm like the barbarian character, not like some extensively studied mage or something. I'm just like this Outlander hermit kind of. What? More people? Okay, let's go. Let's just kick some ass.
Oh, absolutely. And, I look forward to seeing how this experiment goes. I keep thinking of that that line from Nightmare on Elm Street when they're playing Dungeons and Dragons, where it's like the one patient decided not to play anymore, and they're like, okay, so is that death or magical sleep?
The giant golden egg.
Just a few more days. Just a few more days. Although I will not be watching it. Stop! I'm still on my Disney boycott until Kennedy's gone.
I hear you. Everybody got their reasons. I am super excited for it, though. So yeah,
Dan, if you're trying to talk, we can't hear you.
that's right. I didn't have my push to talk on, so I guess I'm just talking to the streaming audience here, which I guess was pertinent only to them, but you guys should be able to hear it as well. Basically, just if you are watching right now and you're wondering what this whole play with viewers thing is about, it's like Conduit, J-Man there, just posted in our chat. Bring in a character from any setting and we can ploop you right in. It will be as simple as that, literally. We have not started this campaign yet. It doesn't matter really when you join in, when you have to leave. It's very free flow campaign. So if you're in our chat log and you've played before, you haven't played before, you haven't played in years, you're kind of rough, it doesn't really matter. Like, we're here to teach you, or we're here to learn from your experiences as well. Like, we just want to play with some new gamers here. And while we're waiting for any potential people to join in, we're going to talk a little bit about the world of Enamir itself that we have been playing in since 2001.
Now, a quick question though. Are we always going to be at level 1, or are we going to, when we bring somebody in, are they always going to be at level 1, or are we going to scale everybody to whatever levels we happen to reach during that particular part of the campaign?
I believe a fair scale would be best. Because, yeah, it would definitely suck if this is something that takes off and, say, in a year and a half we're still doing it and you guys are like level 16 and somebody who's never played before hears from their friend like, yeah, I played with them last week, it was great, you gotta give it a try, and then he joins in with us and he has to start at level 1. Yeah, I don't know how much fun this is. I got killed in one attack.
How did you die? Harsh language.
And leave it to Dawn to be the one to ask how the level disparities will be handled. Like, anytime their experience points come up, or challenge rating, or character levels, it's generally Dawn that's behind the conversation.
I don't know. I mean, you know, I'm already working on my Paladin's level up for next game.
His level up for next game. That's like the 6th time in as many days as I think he has mentioned a level up for his Paladin.
I actually enjoy playing a lot of the lower levels and building up to the higher levels. As many times as I've built higher level characters just to playing them up from first to the higher levels, they're always more powerful. And I don't necessarily attribute it to building something. I attribute it to learning how to use what you have and how you're using it.
Yeah, my personal favorite was the... Oh man, I forgot what it was. I want to say like 12 games that we played in Enamir Pinnacle at level 1. Because we were playing like 2nd edition experience distribution. You guys would finish a battle with a group of goblins, and then I would take the XP and divide it among your characters rather than give each of you the XP value, which is true 5th edition style. You're meant to go up a level every 1 to 4 sessions in 5e, and even that I kind of have a hard time swallowing the pill for, because if we did that with some of our campaigns, the level scale would be accelerated to a point that I wouldn't be able to keep up with. So that's kind of why I've converted to the milestone system. But going back to the original point, the pinnacle, like a dozen games at level 1, it was, defeat a group of goblins and divide the XP, and each character gets like 6 experience points. It's like, wow, look at us really racking up these XP. So it takes 100 XP to get to level 2, and it took us a dozen games to get that 100 XP.
Yeah, I always, I remember switching over to 3.0 years ago, and their mathematical average for number of games by XP was between 3 and 5 games. Every roughly 3 to 5 sessions, you should level up. And that doesn't seem to have changed since that equation. It's just the numbers you use to get there have different names is all.
Right.
Definitely better than when in second edition you could kill one like demon and get 4 levels because of how much XP each thing gave you.
Oh yeah, and then also second you had every class had their own XP scale. So the rogue was 1250 for level 2, and the wizard was 2500. So it was easily twice as much XP if you wanted to go up as a wizard.
Oh yeah, the complexities going from first/second edition to third edition were just worlds apart. When I first heard of third edition, I was really hesitant, and then once I saw what it was, I'm like, I really like this. And converted. I remember they had the little booklet you can convert. I still have it somewhere in my stash. I'm sure it's stashed in one of my player's handbooks over there. I still have all of my books from every edition I played because I just can't let go of them. I spent too much money on them.
Yeah, I wish I had that same mentality about my second edition material. I sold all of that when I got fully into third edition, which I remember for our group, they had in, I think it was 99 when third edition came out. Might have been 2000. But I remember before the system even came out, they had this cool pamphlet that kind of gave you the rough rules of what 3.5 or 3.0 was going to look like. And you could kind of get the basic gist of the rules from that, and even kind of start seeing what they were going to do with it, and I was getting really excited about it. Hey, thank you so much for the follow there, Firewall. Good to see you there. Welcome to Role Playing Unlimited.
Yeah, and then 3.5 came out. I actually discovered that when I was medevaced out of Iraq into DC. I'm like, what?
Oh, wow.
We've got a 3.5? What the hell?
I remember Don showing that one to me for the first time. We got a Firewall here in the text there. Are you interested in playing some D&D? My buddy here, Evil Don, will get you set up there. Don, if you don't mind handling the chat there and explaining how we're going to get all this done here, I will explain some of the in-game logistics of how we're going to do it, as well as the out-of-game. But Don, you can facilitate the liaison.
Okay, and I also haven't figured out how to invite into the Discord channel yet, so you may have to do the invite to that if Firewall is interested.
Gotcha. That is pretty much the only prerequisite technologically, is you have to have a Discord profile, because we run all of our audio and video through Discord. If you want to be on video, then we can certainly add you in and make that accommodation. If you don't want to be on video, that's totally fine as well. The Play with Viewers format will be every Wednesday night, tentatively right now 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Pacific. Excellent, he does have Discord. Thank you. So yeah, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Pacific, Wednesday nights. And the format is intended to be such a way that if you can only play 30 minutes, 1 hour, you play the entire 2 hours, whatever works for you. there's no commitment, there's no pressure, you don't have to make every session, you can play only so once in a while, whatever works out for you. And the way we're handling that in-game logistically is in our homebrew world here, we actually have a history of some alien invasion, which we're going to use on a larger scale to bring newer characters onto this homebrew world that we've created. So that kind of opens it up on your side as well, as far as what kind of character do you want to play. If you have a homebrew world of your own, or if you're a fan of Forgotten Realms, Dragonlance, Eberron, whatever, you can create a character from any of those settings and drop them into this setting, because we've got this multiverse kind of connection. Internet is kind of bad. The router is a few years old. No worries there. I mean, if it works out, then fantastic. But I mean, as long as we're able to play and have fun and understand each other, that's pretty much all it's about. We're just here to teach new players how to play, or join up with experienced players and learn from their expertise as well. And yeah, like Evil Dawn is saying there, are you experienced in D&D, or what's your level at there?
Or would you like to join us in our Discord so that we can chat it out instead of having to type everything up?
Yes, indeed. I'm gonna send us to the Be Right Back screen right here, but we're still chatting it up here. We're just not on video, so that way I can go to the Discord and grab the invite link.
Like the new graphics, by the way. Justin, the artwork for your character is pretty cool. Where did you get that one?
I actually don't know who the artist is. I'd love to find out to give them proper credit. It was just one I found on a Google search. If anybody does know, let me know so I can give them credit.
We really haven't discussed age or anything like that. The only real restrictions we have are pretty standard. No political, religious, hate speech, things of that nature, no bullying. We're also, we're pretty low on the sex kind of stuff. I know a lot of people, when they play the role-playing games, they like to focus on that kind of role-play, but that's not really the kind of stories or anything that we're into. And excessive swearing. I mean, we're all prone to drop an F-bomb or shit, fuck, whatever, but it's not like every other word that we say. Otherwise, we're pretty open, man. We've played with some younger kids, we've played with some older, even our current setup, our current 4 gamers we have here, we're kind of diverse in age as well. I don't know why it's not letting me post the link. I wonder if... Let's try...
I guess for age, I would say as long as you're old enough to, not be missing out on school homework or anything when we play, that would be the only thing I would say.
Sounds reasonable. skeleton kind of characters, like you like to play undead, or you like to play necromancers that create skeletons? Oh, the Discord's a little wonky there. I guess I should go back to the... Ta-da! There we go. And take Justin off the main. Get back to the Roll20. There we go. Looks a little better. Yeah, we're trying to figure out how to get the Discord link to you right there. It is not working here in this
I
chat.
sent it to him through a whisper.
Oh, very good. I was trying to do that as well, but it just wasn't opening up any box to let me communicate. Excellent. So yeah, once you get into the Discord right there, Evil Dawn will facilitate you to the correct voice chat, and yeah, we'll have you on audio and video as well if you like. Tonight we're pretty much just focusing on character creation, lore creation. Not going to actually play until next Wednesday. We're just kind of discussing how we're going to actually handle this and see whose interest is piqued. So yeah, thank you. Thanks for jumping in. Yeah, PG style of game. So let's get back to discussing the Enemir lore here. This, of course, is just a massive document of everything that happened, most everything that happened in Enemir over the past centuries. I guess if you're watching the repeat of this, you can just hit pause every few seconds if you want to read the whole thing. I've read it several times. I think it takes like an hour or so to read. It's pretty extensive. I'm trying.
Is that the same file you sent me last year?
It is. I've made a couple of amendments to it, but I still have not added in the... Or have I? Yeah, I have not added in Gears, Griff's, Guns yet. I still have a rough draft of that I'm working on the side, but I have not placed it into the official chronology yet. Okay, Prosperity Restoration. This is about where we're at here. Okay. Travesty Collective. Yeah. I believe here it is. The Ictora. Such and such and such. Okay. I have to read this part without the glasses because, yeah, my eyes are not so good. So 1221, I think we're actually going to be starting a few years after that. And I don't know how many of you can actually read that on there, so I'll narrate the pertinent points here. The Travesty Collective, as it later becomes defined, devastates the land. And we have some player-specific achievements in that vein as well that really only make sense if you know what happened before that and who the characters are. We have some deities that are perishing, players that are sacrificing themselves in epic fashion, gods being stripped of their powers, and the focus point of our story that will actually be pertinent the Ictora, an alien race unknown to the vast majority of Enemir, arrive in force in the skies over Danamar and lay waste to all 16 floating cities of Purani over a span of many days. Now, part of the Historia includes general chronology knowledge, but there are also texts that exist in this extensive version that I've put together here that exist from other sages that kind of have like hidden lore. So when we're talking about in-game knowledge checks, arcana checks, religion checks, things of that nature, we base it largely on this Historia. What does your character know? Well, if you roll a high enough DC, you might know some of the information that's in italics, the hidden lore, so to speak. And few know the truth of the hidden rulers of Danamar and their relationship with the Ictora. But the Ictora found betrayal in some of the Danamari, and the entire race suffered as a result. This is the more official version of what I was talking about a few moments ago. Astophilis, he and his supporters orchestrated the events that led to the previous king's death. He was previously a member of the King's High Council and one of a few who knew of the alien Ictora and their connection to Danamari technomancy. A mighty wizard and sage, Astophilis tasked his father, Valentos, with utilizing technomancy to achieve eternal life, and the League of Cloners, featured in the First Step section of the Historia, that was actually the first Enemir campaign we ever played back in 2001, was the result of that ambition. Astophilis took many years to reveal his treachery, but when he did, it came with immediacy and irrevocability. He made grand changes to the agreement between the kingship and the Ictora emissary, petrifying and imprisoning the alien within the icy dungeon where the new heroes were introduced in 1220. Protecting this magical prison with specifications that prevented Ictora from entering, Astophilis believed he had committed the perfect crime. Ego, gotta love it. But he underestimated the reaching capabilities of the Ictora. A man of great ego, Astophilis believed he could master the newly stolen secrets of the Ictora faster than the aliens could respond to his treachery, and thus he would use the Ictora's own technomancy to protect himself from their wrath. The Ictora, however, realizing the barriers that had been placed against their entry to the icy dungeon, scoured Enemir for suitable warriors who could free their emissary, and this is in fact how the new heroes came to be transported into this dungeon to later free the Ictora emissary. And in the process, that is how the Ictora were brought back to Enemir in vicious fashion, and they were thorough in their work of ridding Danamar of the art of technomancy, though the occasional device will still be found in the following years. Purani was largely decimated, the capital city to the north, and... one sec, look like I've got a little household issue here, so yeah, you guys continue, I'll be right back.
Let me see if I can find where he was, because I have a copy or an older copy of this document. Justin, what was the last year that he read?
I don't remember the exact year, but it was when the Ictora blew everything up, and he was talking about some Necromancy still being around.
Yeah, I can't find where it is right now.
Hey there, fellas. I am back, albeit rather briefly, unfortunately. It seems like we have some trouble going on in our apartment complex right here, and I am going to be needed front and center. So I will unfortunately have to close the stream here tonight. Although I guess I could leave it on if you guys want to stay on and chat for a few minutes. I just won't be in my seat. Hey DJ, good to see you there. Always a pleasure to see you around. Thank you so much for being here. What do you guys think? Do you guys want to keep it going for a while, and I might be back to be here, or I'm not sure. What do you guys think?
It's up to you. You're our fearless leader.
I mean, even if we close down the chat, close down, what we're doing here right now, we could still chat with people in the Twitch, right?
I'm not sure. I think the chat log does stay open, but I'm actually not positive. I mean, I've got enough, music and computer here, man, what the fuck am I talking about? Data to go for a while if you guys just want to keep it going here now that we got a few people here in the chat.
I don't see any reason why not. I will have to be going here shortly as well.
Yeah, I mean, the original plan was to only go for another 30 minutes at the most, so if you guys want to carry on for another 30, that's cool. If you guys want to close it out with me here right now, and hopefully we can get Firewall into the Discord chat. I don't think 13 is too young. I mean, it just depends on if you like to play and really how you mesh with us. I mean, we can only really kind of cover so much through a text exchange. And it would be super cool if DJ and Drow were also interested, because yeah, we do have 3 open seats for next week, and if you guys want to get into our Discord and start discussing with the other players here the character creation options that I was talking about them with, that would be super cool. Hey, there you go, you figured it out.
That's the Discord, and I'll put out my Discord name as well. So if you want to friend me directly, and then I can bring you in.
Fantastic. Okay, I'm going to close this, just close my light down. You guys go ahead and carry on here for a few moments, and I'll check back as soon as I can. If it looks like things are still going, cool. If it looks like it's winding down, I'll shut down the stream. No pressure either way. You guys do whatever works.
Yeah, this would allow you guys to play even in a limited capacity without having to break too much of the line of the game story or anything like that. As a matter of fact, it would probably add to the game story, bouncing in and out of the games like that.
Yeah, and the cool thing is you don't have to commit a lot of time. If during our 2.5 hour game session, you can only play 30 minutes. Jump in. We'll be happy to have you play. And then, you can take off when you want to. It's all cool with us. And this is a great way to introduce new people to the game. It's also a great way for experienced people to play with other experienced people that may have different house rules and such. So it gives us more of a learning experience. Grelix # 0045 is my Discord handle, so you can friend me on there, and then I can bring you into the Role Playing Unlimited.
Looks like you're there by voice, but you're muted on your end, possibly.
Also, the only other rule on this is the fact that it's a push to chat, so you have to make sure that you're set up for a push to chat type situation.
I totally get that, DJ. Life's a busy thing, but yeah, like right now, you're here checking out the stream. You could be playing like this time next week if you're here and you have time to be on the stream watching us. If you don't have other pressing issues, you could also be role playing and rolling dice with us.
See, the cool thing too is that within Twitch, I've seen a lot of times where it's you watch, you type some stuff in, people talk at you a little bit back and forth. But, watching and actually playing the game are two different things. And when you join in and you actually play the game, it makes it so much better than just sitting back and watching us play a game.
Yeah, it gives you the opportunity to if you want to play, you can jump in, play for 30 minutes, maybe an hour, whatever you want to do, and then just watch the rest of the time, lurk. Maybe you won't be able to play for the next 2 or 3 weeks, but then you come up with a day where you just have time off and you can play, and you remember, hey, I could go play this. Hey, they're playing tonight. Let's go jump in for 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
There you go.
So, and the cool part too is you don't need to be on camera. If you don't like to be on camera, you don't want to be on camera, that's perfectly okay with us. You could be in there with audio only, and and just play your character and just have a good time just hanging out with us.
This is my first time actually playing ever.
Very cool. And what we're going to do then is for next week, Dan will have a character sheet set up for you on Roll20. We'll send you an invite into the Roll20, and that way you can we can create your character and we can get you involved in the game.
Yeah, we'll help you build. We'll walk you through all the processes to build whatever you want to build, and we'll make sure it's adapted properly and get things done. And you just be able to just hit the ground running.
And yeah, if you need help making characters, we can definitely help you make characters. The three or four of us here have a lot of experience making characters, especially in 5th edition. A lot of the little tricks and shortcuts you can take to make it quicker. And if you don't really have a solid idea of what you want to play, we can help you guide you into the type of character that will match like what your vision is for the kind of character you want. If you don't know exactly like the class and stuff you want to do.
And we have other players in our regular game that are not on camera, so you don't need to worry about that. If you don't want to be on camera, that's fine too.
So
Yeah. The only problem with my character is it's actually straight from like a different game. Like my design is from a different game.
what game is it from?
It's like a different variation of Undertale. It's called Dust Tale.
Okay, I'm not really familiar with that one. But what type of character is it?
I can find a picture for y'all and send it into Discord.
Okay. Because I think I saw what you read in here. It's like a skeletal being.
Yeah, he's like a skeletal being. with like magical powers, so like a wizard skeleton.
We could try to develop more like a necromancy character, necromancy wizard, who looks similar to that, or you know, if you like the magic and you want to go in that route, he could be a wizard, a sorcerer, a warlock, you know. And skeletal wise, I don't know how far Dan wants to push, you know, homebrew rules on that. So we'll just have to find out from him when he gets back.
Ah, I see it. So he's kind of a skeleton in a hood. How about you, DJ? What do you think?
DJ looks like he's muted too. You're going to have to go ahead and make sure you put yourself in push to talk. So go into the settings, set up your push to talk, and that way you could go ahead and make sure that you have that set up so that you can join our chat.
Hello?
Hey, there you are.
Hi, hello.
How you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm really sore, but I'm doing.
Good to have you on.
Do they have me on? What do you mean?
I said it's good to have you on.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. So age is okay, correct, for this?
Yeah, your age is good on this.
Okay.
Yeah. And also, just as a reminder to everybody, I mean, we don't do this at all, but, you know, no adult themes, no, you know, anything like that. Just, you know, our normal PG type D&D games.
Okay. I've played D&D like once or twice, but I mean, I'm glad to join. You know, I've always been interested.
Oh yeah, I know you've been dying to get into my games.
Oh, very much. I have been dying to get into your games.
I've sent a picture of the character into Discord, just so y'all get an idea of what it looks like.
Yeah, I saw that. Kind of a skeleton in a hoodie.
That is, but it is. What the fuck did I just say?
You know, I think what we could do is try talking to Dan and seeing if the hood could actually be a magic item that puts a glimmer or an illusion that looks like that, you know, to hide his true identity and make him like a wizard or a sorcerer of sorts.
Yeah. Well, in another picture, there's actually like his skeletal brother, like as a ghost, just following him around.
I can see some interesting possibilities. Even possible Dan will let you do an actual skeletal creature. I'm not sure the rules for that for 5th edition. I'm sure we could figure something out if he wants to allow that.
Yeah, the best part about gaming is the fact that you can, you know, you can make different types of characters, play the game, And what's going to happen a lot is a lot of the focus is going to be on you guys. You know, where our characters are mostly going to be there to help and guide, but your characters are going to be the stars of this particular campaign.
So could I say, isn't there a magical item where you could either A, do illusion, like, so say for instance, if he wanted to do something with that hood or the cloak and y'all were able to, couldn't he have an illusion of his brother following him around, or a person like in Skyrim you can summon one of the Dragonborns from Valhalla for a certain amount of time? Would you be able to do that as well?
So like his backstory was that he was kidnapped and driven insane by people and was forced to kill his whole family and friends, and if he didn't, he would die himself.
I think we don't want to go into that kind of a backstory just because it is a very grim and, difficult one. But what we could do is work with you on a better backstory where, you could have been a wizard's apprentice, because we're all starting off at level 1, so we're not going to have a lot of power, like, summoning things and such. That's really comes much later in the game. So what we can do is, working in a wizard's lab as an apprentice, you located this cloak and it bound to you and it gives you this visage. When the wizard found out what you've done...
Yeah, I just have one problem. I'm horrible at coming up with names.
We have there's lots of name generators out there, but you also have 4 guys that are helping to run this that have been doing this for well over 100 years combined. So I'm sure we can help you with names and such.
Oh yeah, and in today's age, there's countless name generators for just about any genre you can come up with if we can't come up with one. So Devin, what are you thinking about concept-wise?
So for like my character, honestly, because this is for D&D, correct? I wanted to go with the normal monk, because I've played that in my other games, and I actually do like how the monks have a certain type of abilities, their wisdom, and how they have certain abilities to like read. Like if you're a monk. What are they called? They're healers. I forget what they're called, but I know they can heal. You know what I mean? And they can read
cleric?
The clerics. There we go. So I wanted to do like a monk cleric type of thing.
Well, there's also a type of monk archetype that is the Path of Mercy or Way of Mercy. I think they get some healing powers too.
But they can still kick some tail.
Yeah, it's kind of ironic. That was the first character I played in Enemir was a monk scion.
There's just a reoccurring problem is my internet makes everyone voices lag and becomes unclear for me.
Okay, so what you're doing is you've got audio from both your Discord and your Twitch. So if you click on your Twitch channel and mute it, you won't have to listen to both.
Well, yeah. I'm out of my Twitch, but it's just the internet. It's really bad because our router is 7 to 8 years old.
Yeah, I've got the same issue.
Well, you're coming through clear to us.
So I've kind of started a campaign with another friend, but it's a different variation of this. It's a Telltale version of the D&D game.
Now, the other thing
So
too is
it's
that
different.
this also allows you the opportunity, this type of gaming allows you the opportunity to explore different types of characters. So if you're already playing a skeletal type character in another game, maybe you want to try, like an elf, or you want to try a dwarven character, a fighter, a ranger, rogue, and just any of those other types of characters. So you're not caught playing the same character over and over again, like I do sometimes.
Yeah, but like this has a different like variation. Like even if you aren't a mage or know like magical stuff, you could still use magic.
Sounds a lot like
And
Rogue.
he also has a race of like a demigod.
Yeah, and like I said, Dan will help you make what the character you feel comfortable playing and want to play. We're just kind of throwing ideas out there, spitballing, seeing what sticks, what might catch your interest, and what you're very focused on and what you're not focused on.
Yeah, because I've always liked the ideas of RPG games with like leveling system, because if there's a certain RPG, it's this exact game. You get to have lots of fun with your friends if you know what you're doing, or if I'm just kind of lonely.
Yeah, that happens to all of us. That's over the last couple of years, especially. This has been a really handy tool to keep us all in touch, because not all of us live in the same part of the country, and we've all known each other for well over 20 years.
So on that particular note, I'm going to sign off, just because I have some other things that I need to take care of. But it's great seeing all of you guys, and I will talk to you guys again on Tuesday.
See you Tuesday, Don.
There's another reoccurring problem, and it's about my dad. Because he isn't in very good condition. And I have to go from D&D to helping him with stuff. So I might be switching on and off and on and off.
Well, that's the whole concept of playing like this. So, if you have to go, you go. It won't affect the game as much. So, Devin, what race are you thinking about playing?
Human.
Human, yeah. Following in my footsteps.
Yeah. How has everybody been doing lately?
Doing good. We've got this is our first night of this format with our out of game show here, and what we're doing is we're kind of working on this new experiment to get this going to where we can have the game go and have people jump in and out. So so far so good.
Well, that's good. That's good. I noticed you told me to join, and I was like, okay, I have a minute before I go to bed, so I'll hop on and I'll see what's going on. And I'm glad I joined, so I know I could join you.
Yeah, we'll build characters, either this week or next week. We'll get everything finalized, and once a character's built, and ready to go, and your concept is pretty much good. You can play for 20, 30 minutes, whatever works for you. Jump in, jump out, have a little fun, learn a little bit, and then just Charlie Mike and do what you got to do.
And my question is like y'all have done in the past, y'all have done a Star Wars thing, a zombies in the 40s or 80s, I can't remember.
70s. 70s.
I was close. Somewhat. Like, are you allowed to do that with this game? Are you allowed to bring a character in from like the future or from back in the past? Like, you know what I mean?
I see what you're saying. What do you think about that, Dan?
1 second for me to catch up on the conversation here. Please give me a recap.
So he's asking about bringing a character in from a different timeline, say a different technology level, be it a more modern day or even a 40s era or what have you.
Interesting. I see. I am not opposed to something like that. I was that was actually kind of speaking to a point that I was going to address earlier in that, because we're going with kind of the multiverse thing here that allows us a bit freer reign to break that fourth wall in numerous respects, depending on where your character claims to come from, especially if you're like, well, my guy's from Earth, or any number of things. My character's from the Star Trek universe. I mean, the sky's basically the limit. But the restriction, if you want to call it that, is that we're still playing D&D. So as long as your character is a D&D race, D&D class, we can find a way to make it work. If you want to have like a 40s theme and you're rocking a Tommy gun or something like that, we can just find a D&D equivalent weapon and say, well, you're using the stats for this repeating crossbow, but it's technically a Tommy gun, or who knows. I mean, we have firearms in Enemy too, so feasibly you could just have a Tommy gun.
I've generated a name.
Oh, awesome. What'd you come up with?
So the generator has it for Nukpana curry.
Interesting.
It sounds like food, to be honest.
Oh, there goes Justin again. As soon as he goes to scratch his nose, the frickin' thing just freezes on him like in mid every single time. Every time, I swear. It's just ridiculous. And coming
It's
to
almost
us,
like you're doing it intentionally.
almost, yeah. Like I've got a pause on his frame right there. So, oh, look at him. He's tempting fate now too. And I was gonna say they're coming to us live from the dark side of the moon there. What's up, DJ? Good to see you, man. Or kind of not see you.
Yeah, no, I'm in my dark room.
I have made me a account on Roll20.
I was getting ready for bed and I got the notification y'all were live, and Jason told me y'all are on, so I was just like, okay, I'll join real quick, see what's popping, and yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Every Wednesday we'll be doing this. And is this Firewall also talking? Good to hear you, man. Good to meet you.
Yeah, I made an account on Roll20.
Excellent. Let me see here. I believe I can just copy the campaign link. Although, if I can't send it to you, like I was unable to send the...
I made it on my computer. That's right in front of me.
Okay.
You should be able to give him your Roll20 ID and like he can friend you.
That's a possibility too. I'm used to just copy. Well, he's in the Discord now, so that'll be much easier. Here we go. Okay. Go over to the flip screen or the BRB screen, and I will just find. Let's see.
I made the account on my computer because I'm using my phone to talk to y'all.
Gotcha. You are Braylon, correct?
I am indeed Braylon. That is the name of my other character.
Let's see. It's not letting me. Man, my setup is just acting really weird right now.
I'm gonna dip out. I got some stuff I gotta take care of.
Okay, J-Man. Alrighty. Well,
All right, have a good one, Justin.
I cannot send a direct message to you, Braylon, for whatever reason, but in the RU Adventurers general chat, you should find the link right there as the most recent message, and that will bring you into the campaign page itself. Little microphone snap.
I like the new graphics, by the way, Dan.
Yeah, I like the transition screen, just the simple D20 roll. It adds a nice touch to everything. Now, why is it always my frame that gets cut in half? Like, I've always got to be the, hey, what's going on, peeps? Yo! Yo!
I don't know, in the lower right-hand corner, I was cut in half there a minute ago.
Yeah, I guess since we'll be on for a few more minutes here, I will make some technical adjustments. Okay, that one. It's a hide. DJ.
So a human monk cleric, huh? That's what you're thinking about playing?
Yes, sir. Are you judging me on that one?
Oh, absolutely not. That's actually a really good combination. Ask Dan. My first character in Enemir was a monk,
Yeah.
scion,
Monk
human.
Scion, yeah.
I know what it is ever since Diablo and me getting into Japan and China history lore. I've actually
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely when you have the interests like that, follow it and develop it as a PC. It helps.
Good enough.
It really helps you build the character that you want to play. And when you build the character, you're not just building a bunch of stats on a sheet. You're also constructing a persona for you to act out.
Hey, Braylon, have you been able to get into the game itself yet?
wait. What do I need to do?
I'm
to
trying.
get-
I'm trying to figure out how to look up.
Hey, yo, Valtheris, what's going on, man? Good to see you.
So, Devin, what we'll do is we'll get you. You'll have to build a Roll20
Yeah, I'm just trying to
account.
figure out how to find y'all's game, like search it.
Oh,
But I'll be back. I'll be back because I have to go get some groceries.
Alrighty.
So what you'll do, Devin, is you'll create a Roll20 account, and we'll send you a link to the game, and we'll build you a character through that, and that's how you'll be able to jump in and play with us.
Correct. Yeah, that's what I was starting to tell Braylon there. If you check the Discord channel that you joined, the RU Adventurers channel, the most recent message that I sent in there should have the campaign link for the game that we're going to be playing. And then once you're in that, I've already got a couple character sheets ready that I can assign to you. And Roll20 has what they call a character mancer that actually kind of guides you through character creation process and makes it a very, very quick procedure. So maybe we'll knock out some of that here tonight, depending on where we end up, or perhaps we will accomplish that over the coming week here. This is not anything that we're in any hurry to get going on. We're just here to meet some new players and have fun and enjoy the times ahead. No worries on that, Val. I mean, that's life, man. We took, I want to say, 3 weeks off of the streaming in November itself, just because between, I want to say, 4 of us, we had sicknesses and just personal stuff going on. So like every week it was, all right, we're gonna stream. Oh, actually no, we're not. So I mean, that's just how it is. But we're happy to be back on Tuesdays with the Baldur's Gate campaign, and we're happy to be starting this play with viewers experience. Should be a lot of fun.
Absolutely. And Devin, if you have any other questions, you're more than welcome to send me a text or what have you. I'll guide you through best I can. I know you're on your phone tonight, so when you're able to get on your computer and set some things up, if you have time, you have time. If you don't, you don't. Don't worry about it. It's not a world-shattering issue.
Oh yeah, and now that you're in the Discord channel as well, you can freely communicate with any of us using the RU crew tag. That'll tag all 6 of us that are part of the Tuesday night crew, and any of us can probably answer any questions you may have, or you can always message me directly, or of course Jason as well.
I don't think your push to talk button's working there, Devin.
Hello, can y'all hear me now?
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Oh. I believe I just set up an account. I agreed to every term I'm seeing. Create a game or start game, and then I see the stuff y'all are doing. So
Awesome.
Very cool. Yep, I've got.
And if you're ever interested in it, Dan's got tons of lore on this world. So if you're interested in delving into that, you're more than welcome to do that too. That always helps with getting to know the world and enjoying watching things unfold around you in the game.
For sure. And that's kind of a subjective thing as well. Like for me, lore and the chronicling is perhaps the most interesting part of compiling the world and playing the campaigns. But I've had other players that I've shown them this and they just look at it and they look at me like, yeah, I'm never going to read this in a million years. Like this is easily an hour and a half read. And I'm sure you've put a lot of love and effort into it, but yeah, thanks, but no thanks. And that's totally cool too. You don't need to know every NPC and every pivotal historical event that happened in the world to enjoy it. But just know that everything is connected in some facet. Like that's another thing I'm a fan of, because I've read so much of the old Star Wars expanded universe. That was the biggest thing I enjoyed about it, is how everything is connected. You'll read one novel and it'll have characters that are introduced in it, and then you'll read another novel that comes out 6 years later and it's like, whoa, they dredged up that character out of nowhere and put him into this story, and it's just super cool to see how everything kind of weaves together. And that's one thing I've always tried to do with the Animir history as well. Stories that you didn't know were attached to other events often kind of turn out to be more important than you originally thought they were.
Well, I do gotta admit though, like I see what you mean. Like a lot of people wouldn't be into it and they've seen it and they're just like, oh wow, that's kind of cool. But you can ask Jason. I really like lore. I do like backstory. Cool. I do like future story. I also like foreshadowing. I like lore because they all have a tie-in connection, like you said, And if you're going in the lore, you could be in the lore and say, oh, like this barkeep, he likes so-and-so. We're talking to the barkeep. Oh, hey, can I buy something for you? Because he has greeter. You know what I mean? It's that little attribute that'll help.
Oh, absolutely. Jason has always been huge on that, as far back as I can remember playing with him in the first Animir campaign. Like, I invented maybe this much lore for Animir when we first started playing it, thinking this will be enough to satiate the group. And as soon as Jason joined the campaign, because I want to say we played 2 or 3 games and then Jason jumped in. And as soon as he did, the amount of details that he was just asking for, I was like, well, here goes the lore. Like, everything just kind of exponentially increased after that.
Was that what made you have all the players contribute to creating lore for the game?
No, that was, well, I hate to say it, but at the time, that was just kind of the result of a combination of laziness and just writer's block. I mean, I genuinely wanted us all to kind of be part of the world-building process, at least as far as names, deities, locations, things of that nature. But there was a lot. I poured a lot into Homeland for a good 4 or 5 years before Animir even was conceived. And by the time I was done with Homeland and I realized, well, I've kind of played this world out, largely because it was never a world, it was just 2 islands that were next to each other, and I never, at that young of an age, was able to really kind of create beyond that. And that's why Animir was so freaking large, because I never wanted to run into that problem ever again. I was like, I'm going to create an infinite world, so I will always have someplace else to jump to, and I'll never have to do this damn world building process again. This is like at 21 years old. I'm like, I'm done building worlds.
So at 21 years, it took you 21 years to get to galactic level.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it was always kind of there, but I never intended to include that element on the scale that we're talking about here. And it's going to be fun to kind of see that, because it's almost like a Guardians of the Galaxy potential in D&D, especially considering...
Yeah, I could even see that, or Last Starfighter, that came to mind earlier.
Yeah.
And other things like that.
Yes, indeed. Should be a blast. And again, I don't know how much details were conveyed when you guys joined in, or Valtheris, if you're interested as well. This is a very free-form mode of play. It is no commitment. You don't have to be here every Wednesday. It is going to be a continuous story, so I mean, there is always the potential that you'll miss bits and pieces here and there if you don't play every week, but that's kind of the nature of gaming. You play 1 week, you miss a couple weeks, you come back. Show up late, leave early. We're only playing for a couple hours every Wednesday, so I mean, if you just want to sit in for 20-30 minutes, if you just want to sit in and kind of backseat and help somebody else with their character as they're playing through, whether you're an experienced gamer, whether you're a brand new gamer, we're welcoming all players of pretty much all ages and all levels of experience. As you can see, we've got the 3 defined seats there at the table and 3 open seats that are going to be more or less fluctuating on a weekly basis, unless we get people that just consistently show up every Wednesday, in which case this may be something we have to expand to another night, or maybe do 2 of them every Wednesday or something, if there's that much interest that we have people like trying to find seats and there's no seats open. But we'll cross that bridge if we come to it. Oh, absolutely, Valtheris. That is the nature of this stream here. We are doing Play with Viewers D&D 5th Edition, my homebrew world of Animir. And we'll be talking a lot more about it here over the next week in the Discord channel, so definitely stay tuned to what's going on there. But yeah, anything else you want to add there, Jason, before we close it out? I'm very, very excited that we met Firewall, and the potential of playing with possibly Drow and DJ and Valtheris as well.
Just whatever it is, if your concept is even a little out there, we'll nail it down as close as we can. There'll probably be a little compromise on both ends.
Oh yeah.
We'll help you work on backstory if you even want to work a backstory. You don't have to. You could have it from a simple 1-sentence backstory to, of course, like me, where I keep writing Dan a novel and then send him an update and then stop sending it to me till you have your final draft. But we can work on it and help you build it. Yeah,
this is me. Jason's backstory.
Can I get a copy?
Believe it or not, Jack Diamond has a Han Solo Easter egg.
Oh, does he?
But yeah, we can help you. The character part's the easy part. Just building your character's the easy part. It's developing the persona is
Oh yeah.
kind of the harder part, and we can all help everybody through that because pretty much all early gamers have a hard time with that. And I've been gaming for 30 plus years, and I still have a hard time with it.
So, Valtheris, to answer your question there in the chat, it's, man, sometimes I don't know how to long story short. For one, you're already ahead of the curve because you're in the Discord channel. And that's pretty much the only prerequisite in addition to having audio capability so that you're able to converse with us. If you want to be on video, we have the extra frames here on the live stream, so we can accommodate that for you. If you don't want to be on video and just be on audio, that's totally cool as well. This is something that's meant to be, you can show up late, you can leave early. We're only playing for 2 hours-ish every Wednesday night. And that's pretty much it right there. We've got 3 seats that are defined and then 3 seats that are open. And even the defined seats are kind of sketchy at best because sometimes they might need to miss a session, or sometimes we might have enough people that want to sit in that one of them will give up their seat and allow somebody else to play for a while. I mean, that's kind of the nature of what we're trying to do here. It's not for our enjoyment or to create another solid chapter in my homebrew world. This is about meeting new gamers, meeting new players, showing them the Enemir experience that we've been enjoying for 20 plus years here. And yeah, since you're in the Discord, you can easily join in the RU Adventurers Lounge voice and video chat at any time, which is what we'll be using for the voice and video right here on the live stream. And if you look in the general Adventurers chat on the same Discord channel, you'll see the campaign link for Roll20. If you don't have a Roll20 account, you'll be prompted to create all of that stuff. But once you've done so, you can join the campaign page itself, and then we can get you going on creating a character, and it's pretty automatic from there because you don't have to roll dice. The character sheets all have macros built into them, so it's just click this button to roll this attack, click this button for this, and it's super easy.
Absolutely, and we'll help you through all that we can.
Oh yes. So yeah, I'm glad we were able to keep this going for perhaps even longer than initially planned. Sorry I had to step away there for a while. We had a potential domestic, well, not potential, an actual domestic abuse situation going on in the very next apartment, and the cops were like at our door and all over the place outside. So I was like, oh shit, I better be present for this just in case.
I am back.
It's the fan. Welcome back.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
I have joined the
and
voice
it's just
channel.
hey, what's going on?
Welcome.
You got here just as I'm about ready to have to go home and turn into a pumpkin.
Oh yeah, we're just getting ready to close out the night here, but we are excited at the potential for next Wednesday that we will have some characters created and some new players at the table here as we investigate another Enemir adventure. We got Valtheris, DJ, and Braylon, and that means 3 characters to create.
And
Yeah,
you did say you wanted this gameplay to be a little bit more like PG-13-ish, correct?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's pretty standard of how we play, anyways.
Exactly. We're not averse to fuck, shit, dropping the occasional obscenities and what have you, but as far as like the sex stuff, we kind of stray away from that. Check the what is it? The rules.
Welcome and rules.
Yeah, the welcome and rules. I mean, it's very short and brief. It's pretty basic too. No religious or political hatred, no bullying, no hate speech. And then just beyond that, what little I've posted there in welcome and rules. Otherwise, we're pretty standard.
I think the hardest it gets is we describe a little bit of gore here and there, and that's about it.
Exactly. We actually did a whole out of character episode on this exact thing. Like, where's our comfort levels on this? Where's our acceptance levels on this? But yeah, thank you all so much for being here tonight. We will catch you next Tuesday for another episode of Baldur's Gate Descent into Avernus. Are you crew getting back into it again after an excellent session last night? And then next Wednesday, we have another Play with Viewers here in Enemir. Hopefully, we'll have our 3 new players here, actually with characters at the tabletop ready to go, or we might have some other new players in addition to that. But either way, it's gonna be fun. Hopefully, we get some playing going next Wednesday. Actually,
Absolutely. Can't wait.
hey, I'm just a wife. Thank you so much, Colleen, for being here tonight. Always a pleasure to see you in the chat log. And Braylon, pleasure to meet you. We will talk more here in the Discord over the following days here. Hope you have a great evening, and same to you, DJ, and same to you, Valtherus. Have a great night, all. Are you with us?